Picture this: a Texas farmer walks through his cornfield expecting to see tall, golden rows ready for harvest. But something's wrong, terribly wrong. Whole sections are flattened. The irrigation lines are twisted and broken. The ground looks like it's been hit by a bomb. In just one night, thousands of dollars, maybe his entire year's income, are gone. But this isn't a natural disaster. This is the work of wild boars. Here's the incredible part: Texas farmers have discovered a genius way to fight back. And the way they've turned the tide against America's most destructive invasive species is nothing short of unbelievable. The perfect storm. To understand the solution, we have to understand the enemy. Wild boars aren't native to North America, they're invaders. Their story begins in 1539, when Spanish explorer Hernando de Soto brought pigs to Florida as food for his expedition. Some escaped, bred, and spread. For centuries, the population was manageable, until the early 1900s, when wealthy landowners imported Eurasian wild boars from Europe for sport. These new arrivals were bigger, stronger, and meaner, and they mixed with domestic pigs to create today's unstoppable hybrid. In 1982, there were about 2.4 million wild boars across 18 U.S. states. By 2016, that number had exploded to 6.9 million across 35 states. Texas became ground zero, home to over 2.6 million wild boars, more than the populations of Dallas and Houston combined. Their numbers grow by 20% every year, spreading northward at almost 8 miles annually, the breeding machine. A female wild boar can reproduce at just 6 months old, with a 115-day pregnancy, giving birth to 6 to 12 piglets per litter, and she can breed twice a year. That means one pair can produce over 20 offspring annually, all breeding within months. Even if farmers kill 100 boars, reproduction replaces them within a year and a half. The billion-dollar nightmare. The damage is catastrophic. Wild boars cause over $118 million in agricultural losses. In Texas alone every year. A single boar can destroy $1,000 worth of crops in one night. And it's not just eating, they tear up land like bulldozers. 90% of crop damage comes from rooting and trampling, not feeding. They rip irrigation systems apart, churn up soil, and destroy decades of ecosystem balance. Their rooting spreads invasive plants, contaminates rivers with bacteria, and devastates wildlife. Deer fawns, quail eggs, ground nesting birds, they all fall prey to these relentless predators. When hunting failed. Texas seemed to have the perfect plan: year-round hunting, no license needed, any weapon allowed, even helicopters. Yet the population kept growing. Why? Because hunters went after trophy males, not the breeding females. Removing males barely made a dent. Meanwhile, the females, producing 2 litters a year, repopulate faster than anyone could shoot. Tennessee and California learned the same painful lesson. Hunting only scattered the animals, helping them spread to nearly every county. Even bounty programs backfired. Some people began breeding wild boars to keep collecting rewards, the genius shift. The breakthrough came when farmers stopped thinking like hunters, and started thinking like strategists. They studied wild boars like an enemy army. Intelligent, organized, and cautious. They live in family units called sounders, led by dominant females. They learn, remember, and teach their young how to avoid traps. The new approach? Outsmart them. Corral traps replaced old box traps, large, circular enclosures capable of catching entire families at once. Capture rates quadrupled overnight. Then came cellular cameras, sending real-time footage straight to farmers' phones. They could watch boars enter traps, count individuals, and wait until every last one was inside before remotely triggering the gate. That it was no longer hunting, it was precision warfare. Farmers began integrating night vision, thermal imaging, and aerial gunning teams. Helicopters cleared vast areas, dog teams tracked the clever survivors. Each method supported the other in a coordinated system. The results. In regions where farmers adopted this integrated, high-tech strategy, wild boar numbers dropped by over 60% annually. Some areas saw near total elimination. Crops recovered. Streams ran cleaner. The land began to heal. And there was one more surprise: captured boars were sold to USDA-approved facilities, where the meat was processed into lean wild pork, turning destruction into an unexpected source of income. But challenges remain. The system is expensive, costing $5,000 to $15,000 to implement, and not every landowner can afford it. Some refuse to cooperate, others still transport live boars illegally for hunting. Yet the progress is real, and it's inspiring. Texas farmers have turned chaos into control. They've shown what's possible when determination meets innovation, when people refuse to surrender their land to a problem once thought unstoppable. So here's the question. Will Texas ever fully defeat the wild boar invasion, or will this battle define a new era of human versus nature? If you enjoyed this story, like, share, and subscribe to Vendor and Wildlife for more real-world battles between people and the planet's most resilient creatures. Thank you for watching. Stay curious, stay wild.